At 4 o'clock, we got UL Monroe, one of our 2 4 o'clock games, which has gone 1-1, traveling to number 2 Alabama. By the way, should be number 3 Alabama. I don't know of a single person that watched that Alabama-Texas performance and they're like, yeah, that's the performance from a number 2 team in the country right there. Let's go, boys. No one said that because that was an embarrassing performance. You put up 20 points against Texas's defense. Not to mention, you almost lost to Texas. Not to mention, you almost lost to Texas without their starting quarterback and with their backup quarterback playing hurt. That was pathetic. That was a pathetic performance by Alabama. It really was. Texas, if Quinn Ewers stays healthy, probably dominates, which is an insane thing to say, but if Quinn Ewers is healthy, they probably destroy that game. It's not even close. They still almost won with their backup quarterback hurt. He had a leg injury in that game. He could barely run. And throw, for that matter. Not good. It was kind of crazy. But Texas's defense played insanely well, and it just pointed out all the flaws that Alabama has this year. And they're going to really... SEC teams just watch that film like, okay, we figured out how to beat Bama. I would be surprised if Arkansas or A&M or Ole Miss or Mississippi State, or Tennessee, if one of those teams does not beat Alabama, I would be very surprised. Because what I just watched from that performance was not from a team that is number 2 in the country. That was a performance of a team that's number 17. That's not the number 2 team in the country. By the way, it was number 1 last week. They deserve to be bumped down to number 3. Ohio State had a better performance. I don't know what else to say. They had a better performance. They dominated Arkansas State. I understand Arkansas State's not very good, but freaking Texas isn't very good with a backup quarterback. You guys almost lost to them. You should have lost to them. You're not very good. And you have some serious problems on your team. The wide receiver problem is huge. And for an Alabama team that is used to having all this talent at wide receiver, not having it is going to hurt, and it hurts now because you just don't have it. But I'm going to go over the stats real quick, and I'm going to give my prediction of the game. Chandler Rogers for UL Monroe went 34-44 through the first 2 weeks, thrown for 361 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Malik Jackson had 21 carries for 74 yards and a touchdown, and Jevin Fred has had 10 catches for 132 yards and a touchdown. Bryce Young through the air has gone 45-67, thrown for 408 yards, 6 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, and has a 67.2% completion percentage. Bryce Young's elite, but his ground game's also bad. He leads his team in the ground game, 12 carries for 138 yards and a touchdown. It's not good. He has not had a good ground game. They thought they were going to get better this year. They were wrong. But also, the problem is in the receiving core. That is the main issue. Receivers aren't getting open consistently. And if you compare that to a receiving core like Georgia, where guys are consistently getting open, Ohio State, where guys are consistently getting open, Michigan State, even freaking Penn State has receivers that are getting open. Alabama doesn't have that. Right now they have guys that aren't getting open. Best they can do is the defense forgets about them and leaves them wide open in the middle of the field. Most of that game they weren't able to have any kind of offense because guys weren't getting open. No one was open. And it was kind of scary. If you're Alabama, it showed a lot of problems. Weirdly enough, UL Monroe's 1-1 against Alabama all time. Last game went to Bama in 2015. They won 34-0, but a lot of people remember the 2007 game where UL Monroe upset them on the road, 21-14. I don't think that's going to happen here. Again, let me get this straight. Alabama, that was a rough game against Texas. It was. But you were able to get out with a victory. You were able to escape, which 2 top 10 teams weren't able to last week. So that should be a bright side if you're Alabama. You were able to escape that one. You need to learn from it. You need to get better. You need to figure out your receiving issue because it's an issue. Especially heading into good SEC play. Next week is not going to be good SEC play. You play Vanderbilt. Should dominate that. But in a couple weeks, you're going to be playing Arkansas. A couple weeks, you're going to be playing Ole Miss. A couple weeks, you're going to be playing Texas A&M, Mississippi State, Tennessee, even Auburn. That rivalry, eventually. you're going to have to figure out some issues here. You can't play like that against Texas and expect to beat a good team like Arkansas. It's not going to happen. Good team like Tennessee. You can't play that poorly. You're going to lose that football game. I think Alabama wins this one. I think they win it by a lot. I think they will win by more than 49. But I think this is something to watch out for as the season goes along. Alabama looked not good against Texas, and I think some weaknesses might have been exposed there.